friends and family, my name is Skylent, welcome, and on this channel we normally cover online games, upcoming games, we keep the hype alive, but sometimes they don't always stay alive. Sometimes games die even though they were truly something special, and one of those games was a title named Gigantic. Luckily though, not only are we kind of getting a remake in a sorts, but it's actually a spiritual successor, so it's not just some guys taking the code and just spitting it out again. They are really reimagining the game, but obviously like it's totally Gigantic, just a little bit extra, hopefully a little bit more, but in a lot of ways probably going to be a lot less. I mean, we're gonna dive into that, we're gonna talk about it, but this game is definitely in still like the project stage. Literally the title is Project Stamina. Super experimental at the moment, and all the trailers and everything are really rough around the edges. I wish they did a little bit better job with promotion of those trailers, because then they would have more money with their crowdfunding, which is via Patreon. Seems like they're making like minimum wage right now to produce this game, which if it was just one person, I guess that could be fine. But this game's going to take some people. It's going to take some stuff and things, and it might take a little bit to actually come out. But it looks like it this is kind of newer. It's kind of newer. It's probably going to take a long time for this to come out, but I do want to just shout this out and let you guys know that this is a thing that exists, just like I did with the other Paragon projects and a few other revival projects for some games. Though, again, this one is a little bit unique because it's not just taking old code and throwing it back in. This is legit, like, their own characters. Obviously, it's inspired by Gigantic, but this is going to be a new game. Probably something in the vein of, if you guys remember, Midair was a free-to-play game that was inspired by Tribes because of the failure of the general Tribes franchise, thanks Hi-Rez. So this happens a few times with a few games, and it normally, like, the problem, and I'm just going to come out and say this right now, and that's what the end rant is going to be for the video, but the problem with these revival projects or these inspired projects is that there's generally some inherently wrong thing with the original game. As special and as cool as it could have been, there was some things that was really messed up, and you kind of relive those issues, and the game doesn't actually flourish. Hopefully Project Stamina will, though I can already tell there is some issues starting to arise that I could actually predict, or they have not given me the solutions for in their trailers, which I guess is the first thing, guys. The video footage you're watching is their footage. It was their edits. This is their thing. It's not the most well-produced trailers or action footage. The game is not really like in a playable state. It is not a minimum viable product, viable yet. No, but yeah, it's in a project stage. It looks cool. I want to talk about it. So immediately, what is Project Stamina? If you guys don't know what Gigantic was, dude, I got some gameplay footage of Gigantic on my channel. You really type in Gigantic on Skylent Games. You're gonna find some really fun, and in my opinion, like some of the best gameplay and footage that I've ever had. It was just awesome. Okay, my reactions totally genuine. I love Gigantic, but basically, Gigantic was really kind of announced first of its kind as a hero shooter in a way. Now, a lot of characters are melee, and the melee is legit. If you ever played Smite and you know the boxing mechanics in Smite, it was kind of a lot like that. Like there's some serious aiming and speed going on with even the melee, but it was really the first of a bunch of hero shooters, these MOBA inspired like shooters. Not only that, but it had the weird mechanic of like you fought like kind of giants in a way, like that's what it's called, Gigantic. There was some weird tower mechanics. It was a MOBA in the most minimalistic sense, and more expressive, I think, by calling it a hero shooter. I guess you could almost say it was a hero shooter MOBA in some ways, but it was a third-person action MOBA that was totally unique. Unlike where Paragon was very Smite-inspired, Gigantic was something totally special. And honestly, Gigantic did not deserve to die, and I'm glad that Project Stamina is here, and that's why I'm talking about it. But basically, they're calling themselves an action MOBA. So, it's going to be like Gigantic. I'm sure there's going to be some things that are different, but similarly, it's going to be an action MOBA. The action MOBA departs from the familiar, top-down gameplay. Click to move, basically by, it's third person, it's got aimed mechanics, shooting mechanics, it's got brawling, boxing mechanics, and the pretty much the only action MOBA that anybody actually cares about is Smite. There was Paragon, but that failed as well for being just a little bit too slow, sluggish, and less inspired. Gigantic, though, was pretty good. So this game, I think, having that MOBA inspiration with the abilities, with the progression, hopefully, that they have, it's going to be pretty fun. But yeah, that's basically it. It's going to be a third-person action game, combat game, some shooting mechanics, some melee mechanics, but it's going to be MOBA-inspired with, like, a couple abilities, handful of abilities, set inside of an arena with general objectives that, like towers, stuff like that. You have to actually move through the map, get to the end, blah, blah, blah. And it is going to be focused on competitive. Now, they do say they want the best of both worlds for casual and competitive. They don't explain themselves, and that's going to be the story for basically every game like this ever, unless you're Riot Games and you know what you're talking about, where... Actually, let's go on that tangent. Riot Games, when they released Valorant, or like, they announced it, the first things they did was, oh, you probably have these questions. Here are the answers. Yes, we're going to focus on hit register. We're going to focus on netcode and overall performance, blah, blah, blah. We are going to be an esport, blah, blah. They really just answered our questions. This game, so far, the website does not say that. It just says, yeah, it's going to be good for casual and competitive. That was a big problem with Gigantic. Gigantic was entirely casual and yet designed as a competitive game. So it had, horrible launching on the Windows and trying to be an Xbox cross-play game with PC. Locked to 60 FPS. No, can't do that. If you're a shooter, you can't do that, at least on PC. That was bad. Also, they didn't really support the competitive scene whatsoever or promote it whatsoever. That was very, very bad. Inherently, MOBAs are competitive games. So if we are going to be fun, casual, and competitive, please tell us how. Is there multiple game modes? Like free-for-all, stuff like that is going to be brawly. Competitive tournaments? Is there built-in tournament scene? And also competitively, is it going to run at 120 hertz, 144 hertz, like it should, being a fast-paced, agility-based kind of game? It's Project Stamina. If you guys ever played Gigantic, you know how fast that game actually played, and 60 FPS was not enough. So, like, how is it going to be competitive? Anyways, that's what they say. It's an action MOBA, but we don't actually know how performant the action is going to be. So please give the solutions to those puzzles sooner than later. But what are the core mechanics of Project Stamina? Okay, so here we go. There are 3 core systems at the heart of Project Stamina's gameplay. There's character progression, obviously, much like MOBAs. Stamina-fueled movement, which is just like Gigantic. This actually really separated the gameplay. Had a lot of mind games kind of going on. There is a resource you have to manage, and then also there's universal abilities. So throughout the course of a match, characters gain levels, unlocking unique upgrades that allow players to specialize their character to the needs of that specific game. Hopefully similar, kind of a little bit to Gigantic, but I will say Gigantic had an issue of pacing. You leveled up way too fast, and the different specializations you could have were totally game-changing. So really just kind of awkward, just awkward pacing. I would say League of Legends and Dota actually have a really good flow going down. Here's the Storm even did too, but the Gigantic was really weird. It definitely felt kind of tacked on. Even though the concepts were really good, the actual leveling and progression was very strange, which was evident from their strained game design philosophies, which were just flip-flopping everywhere, constantly. The game had a very bad development cycle. Anyways, so using stamina as a resource, okay, players can traverse the map with sprint. You got, I dodges, I-frame dodges, as well as unique stamina-fueled attack options as well. So you basically have to choose, okay, am I going to run away? Am I going to dodge, be agile here so I can fight this guy, or use my attacks to maybe get a kill, assassinate, things like that. This is stuff that we maybe kind of see in very rarely. Certain characters have their mobility options tied to certain resources. Maybe like in Guild Wars 2, you do have dodges and stuff like that. But in other games, the stamina is just like in Dark Souls, like you almost always have stamina, basically. And then some games, maybe like in a lot of MOBAs, you have your one dodge, you're only going to be able to dodge once, and that's it. In this game, it is somewhere in between, where it really feels like an actual resource that can actually be gamed and played with, but it's also not like a one-time, okay, I attack, I run. There is a little bit of give and take there that you can kind of make up, during the not low, it's very high time to kill matches. So maybe, if you get halfway, you kind of realize you're going to lose the fight, or you see someone coming over the horizon, you can then choose to either go for the kill, a quick kill, or try to run away from there. But of course, your decision's up to then. You've been using your stamina. You got to weigh those options. Will you even be able to get away? Or should you just kind of dodge around in place and wait for teammates to arrive? Who freaking knows? There is options there. Yeah, but inspired by ancient Nordic Celtic runes, Project Stamina features an Augment system that allows players to augment their character by selecting a special ability from a collection of unique and useful spells. This sounds kind of like summoner spells. I don't know, a couple other games call them different things, but basically, yeah, summoner spells from League of Legends to kind of help move things along. I think it helps overall to create really roles such as like teleport or smite or heal or exhaust. And other games have really used these type of I guess universal abilities or spells. They've used these to kind of help funnel in roles, which is a huge problem actually in Gigantic. Everyone disagrees with me for some reason that played the game that died. Duh. But anyways, no, roles was kind of a big issue in Gigantic, and I do hope that we do have a little bit more specialization, and it seems with the customization that we might, so that we can actually have proper roles, maybe more supporty, maybe more frontliney, or whatever the roles might be. I do hope that they actually kind of exist. Even in a soft term, I do appreciate that. So anyways, guys, what is the true relation? Like, are there like ex-devs working on this game or whatnot? It seems like a fan project. And the inception of Project Stamina was a direct response to the end of Gigantic, announced back in 2018. Oh, by the way, fun fact, guys, I actually applied to Motiga, the people who are making Gigantic, and you know, as I was talking with the hiring manager, one day he's just like, oh, no one told you? So like, you know, I was in talks to actually be a community manager, and he's like, sorry, everyone got fired. So yeah, no one's getting hired. But yeah, the people who were actually got, you know, laid off on Gigantic, they even worked on the game for free to actually get it launched. Then it was published by Perfect World, and things were actually going well. It had thousands of players when it shut down. So yeah, it really sucks. But god dang, Gigantic was special, and I wish I was a part of it. But anyways, Motiga broke the mold with their work, made something that touched the hearts of thousands before the door for their world closed forever. So they now are going to carry the torch lit by their spark of brilliance. You know, started there with the beautiful animation, the artwork, and the concept overall. And this team wants to seek to honor the work of those that inspired them. But basically, in more concrete terms, the core gameplay of Project Stamina, it's very heavily inspired by Gigantic. You could say this is a Gigantic clone, but can you even say it's a clone if the game doesn't exist anymore? I don't know. Really, the only thing, there's just some slight tweaking, okay, that's inspired by a few other games, likely very related to the genre, as we kind of see with like the summoner spells-ish, as well as just, you know, a few twists and turns here and there, but for the most part, I think we can see this game oozes Gigantic. I mean, you don't need me to explain it. These guys don't need to explain it. It's gonna feel like Gigantic. You can already tell. So what platforms is it gonna be on? It's gonna be standalone for PC. But, I mean, who knows? You know, next they're going to look it up, maybe launch it on Mac and Linux as well. Cross-platform playability with that for the general personal computer space. But they do say that because costly process of console certification and difficulties of getting platform holders to play nice for cross-platform multiplayer, no projections of when they're going to expand to consoles. Which I personally think, because it is a third-person game, that kind of sucks. Smite does well on consoles. In fact, there's games like Dawngate, even Spellbreak. Dude, if you can play Fortnite on mobile devices, a game like this really can work on consoles. But of course, it's a small team. It's awkward. Yeah, but it would be great. It would be very well. It would be good. But being a PC-focused game, I'm actually really cool with that. If they actually announced that, oh no, we're going to be on everything, we're going to be on Switch, I would be very worried. I would be quite concerned. I've already voiced my concerns for that with a bunch of other games. I like Spellbreak. Like, yeah, you know, more people can play it, but at the same time, I want more hardcore people to play it on the platform that is the competitive platform, just frankly. Firstly and foremost. So yeah, it's gonna be a PC game, and that's good compared to Gigantic's weird focus of being Xbox and then Windows, and then having like frame rate locking and all sorts of really bad game design when it comes to PC. So yeah, when is this game even actually gonna be playable? So it's gonna be a bit probably because it's just now ending the prototype development phase, and they're gonna start the closed alpha stage, which is gonna be rough. I can tell, okay. But anyways, I will let you know whenever I get in and I get to play in the closed alpha. I'll probably play a few matches, but I'm certain this game will not be fun or truly enjoyable until it gets to probably an open beta stage. That's why it's open beta, guys. So, you know, I'm just trying to hype up the game now, just like, hey, this thing exists and it's gonna come out one day, but it's not ready. It's not ready yet. Anyways, guys, how can you learn about the game? You know what? I'm going to put some links in a comment or whatever. There is going to be, like, you know, their social media, the YouTube, you can join it. And it is actually fun to join the Discord of developing games. Maybe you can become a champion. A lot of times they'll invite you to be a moderator on the Discord or whatever. And you can, yeah, I don't know, sometimes your suggestions actually get put into the game. I mean, that's the whole point of having a community and building that together with an online game. It's like you're part of the development team. Yeah, kind of a little bit. Not really. They don't care about you, but I don't know. In a way, it's kind of fun, you know? But anyways, actually, they do say that they're accepting applications, which are linked in the Discord. I don't know, maybe I'll throw mine in. Seems pretty cool. But anyways, guys, yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Basically, it's Gigantic, but a little different, but mostly it's Gigantic. And I think that's pretty cool. It's a small team. They want to throw something out there. I do project that this will have the success of something like Midair, which frankly was a failure, but maybe a little bit more because Tribes already was pretty niche and Gigantic. Just literally no comment, I doubt any comment on this video will say Gigantic was garbage. Nobody's gonna say that, but some people might say that about Tribes Ascend or, you know, some older Tribes games because they are older, but Gigantic really wasn't a bad game. It had actually some pretty bad crippling design decisions, and then the way they produced the game and flip-flopping between different publishers and then platforms, yes. But if Project Stamina can stay on track, focus, and actually make a really fun game filled with character and love and color, and then, you know, make it a competitive game and they support it, and, you know, they have community montages and, you know, you have community tournaments and things like that, this game's gonna do just fine. Okay, project a few thousand players, launch it on Steam, please launch it on Steam. I don't care if you get money from Epic. It's probably gonna happen, who knows? But anyways, launch it on Steam, get some players, have some fun. It's gonna be a good time, okay? Because Gigantic inherently wasn't a bad idea, and I think Project Stamina, even if it's not to the polish of what Gigantic was, dude, I just want to play more Gigantic, and I think a lot of people do too. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Can't wait till they get their name, and can't wait until it, you know, becomes actually playable. It's gonna be some good stuff. That's what I think. You know, again, even if it's not the best case scenario, even maybe if it's the worst case scenario, man, I feel like the world kind of deserves this, because frankly, Gigantic should not have shut down. It really should not have. And it is the one game that is truly, truly a shame that it did shut down. Anyways, but that's it, guys. Project Stamina, it exists. Here's the thing. I know it's really early to talk about, but I don't know. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I'm all about it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And what other games do you think deserve to come back, to have a resurgence, or to be kind of, you know, remade through an inspiration style game like Project Stamina? Much love, friends and family. Let's keep that hype alive, and I'll see you again next time.